All right, it just went live. Let me go grab the door. Sorry about that. And we need chairs. I'm sorry. I think there's chairs. Just two. We got two.
Hello.
There.
How are you guys?
There's copies of the current master agreement. And Lindsay has sent, did you email that to me? These are the proposed changes here. It's basically the same as last time, but I just put in a couple of things here. There we go. I'm gonna go print that out. I'll be right back.
What did you say?
We're supposed to talk.
Oh, that's what, just talk. So you guys just talk.
How's Vegas?
It's good.
Did you find the hookup deal?
You know what? We didn't, and I think they came downtown that night, but we had tickets to the Rolling Stones.
Oh, you're kidding?
Yeah. it was
Oh, for
super
fun.
So Corey and I went there, but Kurt and Jody were there. And Max ended up coming that night too, so they didn't say that they ran into each other or anything. We stayed downtown. It was really fun. It was so much fun.
Last time we went to there.
We usually stay on the strip.
What's that? No,
So that was good for me. That was good for me. Thank you.
There's that. Hold on to that for now. Okay, so do you guys, we want to read our notes from the last meeting?
Sure can.
All right. I mean, out loud?
Sure can.
I got them right here. Do you want me to read them?
No, I got it. I was just pulling them up.
All right,
All right, so,
good. I didn't want to.
I thought you had them right there.
I do.
Okay, so I had Article 6, we were gonna check with, Article 6B, we were checking with Alexis. Article 8, we agreed to. Article 12, was $4,600 single, our counter was $5,600 for family. And we talked about simplifying the language. Article 13, we agreed with your proposal and countered $412 to $700. Article 10, we agreed to the substitution. Article 11, we agreed with A3. Article 14, we agreed with the personal leave payout. Article 19, we were checking with Alexis on that one. Article 20, we agree with the E, F, and G. Appendix A, we countered with 1,000 and 4,000 year 2. You guys had an offer of 1,025 as a counter. And we left and discussed that we want at least a 5% raise. That's all that I have.
All right. Any questions? All right. All right, so Article 6B, what was your meeting with Alexis?
Okay, so, we noticed one thing specifically that's not accurate, with this. Your original offer for appendix A was 1 and 2, but a counter offer was made at 1 and 25.
What, say that again?
The board countered with 1,000 year 1 and 2,500 year 2.
Yep.
Okay, so that's not shown in what you just,
On the new.
No, I know that,
Okay.
that's what we,
okay,
I was
This is
gonna.
the original you gave us, right?
Well, it's updated for today, but we just finished discussing that, so I'll give you that during a second.
okay,
But that's,
all right, I just wanted to make note of that.
that's all right.
So, I spoke with Alexis on all of those issues and maybe more. And so with the first one, Article 6, B, where you have considered, in there, it talks about unrequested leave of absence, which is that's all a state statute, which I'm sure you know. And so we don't really have to talk about unrequested leave of absence or things like that. But the one thing Alexis and in our conversations said that probably would make a little more sense is that the date would say July 15th, just so a teacher would know if their assignment had changed, they can prepare.
And we know that in emergency situations, you can obviously go to the 15th, but
And we had talked about managerial rights and administrative rights, and so those
Okay.
stay in place. But it would just be, if at all possible, it'd be good to have the teacher plan accordingly.
Right.
So we would like to see that date changed to July 15th. But other than that, we would agree with your language.
Okay.
And with the, I guess, kind of piggybacking on that, non-tenured, that's also all of the whole continued contract versus non-continued, that's all Minnesota state statutes.
Right,
So,
yeah, I don't think we have to spell that out.
okay. The next one, we had already agreed that we would sign off on those changes, Article 8. On Article 12, we're at a point where we're fine with those language changes. If there is a language change, like, we probably need to have sample language. I know you sent me some MSBA stuff. Today I didn't have time to look at that.
On the insurance, yeah. I was just telling these folks here before we started. When I read through that, it didn't seem to me that it was at all simplified.
I was thinking that.
Okay, so,
It sounded like a lot of the jargon that we already have.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
but I think we're fine with language changes. We're fine with the date changes. We would agree to those. So we agreed to those date changes. That's a simple thing with minimal effect.
Lindsay's already smiling on that one. Yeah.
But I think it's something that we should probably schedule some meetings just to come up with language. And I don't know if Lindsay's had time to come up with language that she would prefer. I know Alexis, our regional rep, said that she would be happy to come down and help us as well. And we could have a workshop to come up with language that
okay,
just simplifies the whole process. So we would agree to that, and with the understanding that we gotta get together and come up with language to
Okay.
simplify it. So,
yeah, Lindsay was saying, it might be as simple as just, there's a lot of redundancy in here.
Yeah.
Maybe just looking at that.
with the insurance, last time, did we agree on the money of 46 for single and 56? Did we agree on that? Because remember, it was a $195 increase for singles, and it was $107 for a family. And so we bumped it to that 56 to make it so that it was more comparable with the single and the family.
I thought
believe,
we did.
I thought we did.
yeah,
That was my recollection as well.
yeah, that's what you calculated
Yeah.
here, right? Yes.
Okay.
And I don't know if I changed it in here.
It's not
but-
changed in here, but that's why I just wanted to bring it up.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
As soon as I
It's
saw
not in
this,
there,
I'm like,
but it's
oh.
in-
Yeah, I wrote it down here.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yes, because it's 5600.
yeah, 56 for family, 46 for single.
Yeah, that's what I have in the notes
Yeah,
too.
I've got that, yeah. Yeah, sorry about that.
Okay, and then we had the agreement on the Article 13 where 403B started year 0. And we had that one change where years 4 to 12, it would increase $100. So that way every group got that $100.
And I see, I didn't change that one either. But yeah, I've got that. Is it agreement?
We agreed on the subpage changes. Article 10, that was already signed off or tentative agreement. Article 11, we have a tentative agreement.
But there's a new one in here, right? You have H.
Yes.
Article 8H in the new one?
So I've added article, just to clarify this. Just to clarify this language, because I talked to Mr. Sullivan about this, and he'd said that initially when this was put into the contract a decade ago, maybe,
Somewhere in there.
it was understood that this was to compensate for unused sick time, sick days. And, but in nowhere does that say it in the current language. And I think to protect the district, we need to make sure that it says for unused sick time, because otherwise we'd end up paying people that used up all their sick time 100 days of employment, so. I don't know. Any questions?
So all you're changing
It's the only change.
is just to begin retirement at the end of the fiscal year?
So you're looking at, oh wait, am I in the wrong one?
Yeah, you are.
So H is the current language, and then you said
Oh.
consider.
Sorry, I'm on the wrong one. Can we just rewind a little bit here? Yes, so, just to clarify this, we've got a mid-year retirement happening right now. And I think it's obvious the intent behind this, but, I think we need to have the contract spelled out a little bit clearer than just, we know what it means. So anyone who submits his or her resignation on or before February 1st to begin retirement at the end of the fiscal year. Because technically I could submit my intent to retire next week, today, and it's before February 1st of the same year. So I'm just trying to clarify that. Public questions on that?
You're just hoping so that to get that severance pay bonus, they wait for the end of the school year. They let you know by February 1st, and they wait to actually retire until the end of the school year, correct?
Yeah, they could, yeah, technically it would be July
So-
1st. But
Yeah.
I suppose it could be any time, couldn't it? I don't know why you'd retire in June. Would there be a reason for that? A good reason?
Well, I don't
It's
think,
usually after the last day of after the last contracted day on the calendar.
So then why would we want end of the fiscal year? Would we rather have that be end of the school
School
year?
calendar year?
well, so there's something more to, there's some tricky dates having to do with retirement. Because I know sometimes people have to retire by certain dates.
Yeah.
And it's not the end of the fiscal year, and some days it's not correlated with the end of the school year. Because some days we go until June 2nd or 3rd, and those teachers have to retire like June 1. And
Yeah.
so I think maybe we need to do a little more research. Like, Lindsay would probably know more about this than I do.
Yeah.
But it seems like something in my head is
Yeah,
telling
no,
me-
you are correct on that. So we just want to get the wording better
Right,
so that it's not encouraging people to retire tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think my intent is to have it so that, yeah, you can retire, if you let us know February 1st of today, that you want to retire next October, okay, we can plan for that. We've got 7-8 months to plan for that. That's fine. We just don't want to surprise.
I think that's, everybody agrees with that. But
I'll look at, if you guys want to help.
yeah, I think we need to do a little more research on that.
I'm sure we're not the only school district that has this in their contract, so we'll take a look at what. So we're gonna take a look at 13H. A little research, okay. Article 10,
We agreed on that already.
Article 11.
11.
We agreed on that.
Well, we agreed on, I'm proposing,
So
Didn't I agree on the 30 and 190?
yep. we
I
did.
just got a quick question on that 13H. So,
That's where we're at now.
yep, so now, if you would retire, do you not get your sick days?
Up to 100.
So they do actually get that
They-
now,
they
but
do.
they didn't, never just worded it in here, is that?
Yeah, the problem is the way it's worded right now, anybody can get those days.
Okay,
Uh,
and I know we talked about that, so let's clarify that.
And it's this part right here, it's kind of confusing. Well, even the example, it says, for example, an eligible teacher averaging a half full-time employee over his or her last 10 years of teaching employment with the district will be entitled to 50% of the amount. Well, we don't know what the amount is. We know it's up to 100 days. But yeah, 100 days of what? Just 100 days of teaching? Well, the intent was to make it up to 100 days to reward those people that haven't been using all their sick time. And that was the original intent, according to Mr. Sullivan. I wrote that we talked about it, but I put that on the wrong one.
You know, I wasn't, that was a long time ago, that got put in the language. I don't know what the past practice is, but that certainly makes sense to have that in there.
I think because we say up to, not to exceed 100, I think we do have to define our basis.
100 what?
It's on the others. Flip it. Flip it one
So
more.
I'm just to
It's
let you know what
13
I'm doing,
in
I'm just kind of
spots.
organizing my thoughts here,
That's
because there's
fine.
some
Back
going
in-
off my
yeah.
notes, and then there's new stuff, so I'm just.
No, that's fine.
What has been past practice?
Past practice was health, or was sick days.
So who was our last retiree?
I think it was, we looked up Kathy Reese.
Reese? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So then, she got paid out, did she have 100 sick?
She had
days?
well over that. So she was paid out into an
Up to
HSA
100, what about
100 days.
what about like Soma? Like, cause
I don't know.
I'm just wondering if, how was he, what the past was, so if he was paid out 100 too and he didn't have, how did that work? You know what I'm saying?
He didn't have.
So say he had 50 days and he got paid out 100 days, what's the past practice?
Yeah, I guess I don't know.
I don't know the answer to that. So it sounds like we might have that issue coming pretty soon with that, right? With this whole clause.
Okay. Yeah, we can look into, we can go, who else is retired?
I know Lindsay would have, Lindsay would know more.
We'll take we'll go a little more into that. We
I
just
just
thought
don't-
Kathy Reese would be
Yeah.
it.
And I'm not opposed to
Yeah, I
this.
don't think we're opposed
No,
to it.
not
I
at
think
all.
we just looking at it, the whole scheme, especially with this scenario that may be coming up right now is that may need to be established. Maybe a different
Yeah.
discussion.
I don't, yeah. And they could have negotiated
Yeah.
other stuff too, so. For example, with the current one, we were allowing an extra half year on top of the 3 years of
Leave.
yeah, of leave, so.
Okay. So that was Article 13. correct?
We know that we have Article 13 in 2
Did-
sections.
Well-
That's why.
Yes, and it's not nearly as bad as your contract was before. I have fixed that if you wanna look at your,
Okay, so Article 13.
one of the last, yeah, in Article 19, it was a mess.
So I should say Article G on 13, that's what we agreed on.
Article,
13G.
yeah, I apologize for that.
Okay.
It's not the worst mistake I've made. We won't discuss that. All right,
Okay,
Okay, hold,
So-
hold on 1 second.
Yep.
This, I was trying to, the current contract,
yep, what
this
page?
one we're looking at right now, on page 16 and 17 is Article 13.
Yep.
And the one we're just talking about, the considering with the unused sick leave, is you have as H. In
Oh,
H, it's actually the one we just got done talking about with,
Okay.
so I'm trying to figure where is this on here? This is actually B. So the one we're just talking about,
I'm
with
sorry.
unused, that's
Yeah.
B in the contract.
I think this has to do with the auto numbering.
That's the one that we want to take a look at, correct?
B is the one we want to look at
Get together.
past practice.
gotcha.
All right.
Like,
All right, yep, so current language 13B. All right. And you just saved me 10 minutes when I start to try to mess around with this in the future, so thank you. All right,
Okay, so then 14, we had a tentative agreement.
Yep.
And then the teacher evaluation.
yep,
So we would agree to that language change. Obviously, the working document would need to be developed.
Mhm.
And, a group of all parties involved should be working on that. The one thing that was suggested is that working document be reviewed every 2 years opposite the contract. So if the contract is 21, 23, then the review would be 22, just so you're not looking at all kinds,
Right. Well, and my intent behind this is that these things change.
Yeah.
And when maybe something new comes along and that we want to incorporate that into a evaluation plan, or maybe we find something's just not working, which is a big part of why we're not doing what was proposed two years ago, or last year. It was just undoable. We couldn't.
Well, visions change.
Vision, but it
Leadership
was
changed and visions
Makes
change.
sense.
it wasn't even the vision of it. It was like, we don't have enough subs.
Logistics, yeah.
We would have needed 4 subs for a day to make that happen. And we just don't have 4 substitutes. And that would have meant Brett would have had to do that sub. Well, he's got to evaluate. So
Is that why in this proposal, you have the plan will be maintained outside the master agreement? So we're able to have flexibility.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how will that plan get just between teachers
well,
and
I say
administrators,
that
or?
we'll, with input from the representatives of the teaching staff. I don't know, maybe it's with the staff development committee. That makes a lot of sense to me.
I think it would be, maybe the verbiage should be, it will be maintained by a committee comprising of teachers and administrators.
Okay.
I think maybe, because it should be a team effort to do it.
I mean, that is what it says. The district administration with input from the representative of the teaching staff.
Yeah.
We're fine with that.
Yeah, we're not opposed to it. We would agree with that.
Okay.
And I don't know if the whole will be reviewed even years, or are we thinking that should be part of the language?
I personally don't think it needs to be, because we should just review it. But what's the point of having a committee if we're not going to keep looking at it? Okay.
Question, what is the bold teacher development plan? What is that?
Well,
That has to be created, yeah.
yeah, we've got to create it.
What
Right now,
has it been in the past?
well, it's been basically the state model, but they had to change. And then a couple years ago, we really liked what Blue Earth had been doing. And so we made a plan to implement that. And then we just found we didn't have the staff to make it happen. We didn't have the main thing came down to substitute teachers.
Well, Blue Earth teaching wise is a much larger district.
Yeah.
So when you have large districts, you have more teachers that can cover internally as well. Plus, it's a larger area, so they have more substitutes. to be
Yeah.
ready to be available. So,
Yeah, so it hasn't been working. We're doing our observations, but it's not great.
So what you do is, what that plan was, you had certain teachers go in and say, critique BJ or Mr. Kingery.
That was part of the new plan, yeah. That's what we wanted to
So
do.
you picked.
But in order to make
staff.
that happen, if the 3 of us are gonna leave our classroom to go observe one of them, well, we need somebody covering for us in that room. And in order to really do it, it's much more about us learning from that teacher. It's not us critiquing them. That's where the staff development is happening. That's where it's that dialogue that you have afterwards. So you want a group of people. You don't want just 2 people walking in
Right.
there.
Have you ever thought about having people from the public do it? If you don't have enough staff members, why don't we just have people from the public?
Well, because again, it's for the betterment of the people doing the observing. So I go in to see what Mr. Sullivan's doing so that I can take that back and put it into my practice.
To see what works well.
Yeah.
So he's trying to improve his teaching by watching somebody else teach.
That was the intent behind it, but it just didn't work. It was a grand plan. It was beautiful. just like pure communism. It just doesn't work.
And wasn't there supposed to be like so many walkthroughs and so many?
Yeah.
It was that wasn't feasible, I think.
Yeah, and even this year, Brett and I talked about the walkthroughs for this year, and we started off, we're gonna do 9 for every teacher, and then it's like, oh, maybe it'll be 7. And then we're hoping to get, 5. A lot comes up, and it just, if you can't do the plan, you've got to come up with a new plan.
I know some schools, they have a teacher improvement coordinator, and that's their job. And it's their own position. They don't worry about being a principal. They don't worry about discipline. Their job is to help facilitate improvement amongst all staff.
Yes, I call those metro schools.
Yeah.
Or a little larger schools.
Yeah, Mankato, Rochester.
Princeton always had one. We was at
Princeton, that's basically metro.
Wow, not even close. Okay, yeah.
All right.
All right, the next one,
So are we okay with this language then?
yeah, we would
Okay.
agree to that. I wrote down tentative agreement. The next one, Article 20. We had a tentative agreement on.
With the ECF.
And then Appendix A, we had made a counter offer.
Okay, yes. So that's what we were talking about right before this. All right, so here you go. So we've got. Where are we at? This one. So we've got a proposal for 1,000 in year 1, 3,000 in year 2. It's just a flat increase for everyone, which everything else being the same comes out to a 4.94%. Go ahead.
You were talking about how it gets there.
How it gets there.
That it's including everything.
Oh, yeah. That's, thank you. I wouldn't have thought to do that. It's important that everybody understands that 4.94%, whatever that percentage is, that's not just salary, that includes what we pay in Social Security, that includes what we pay for your TRA. Lindsay, help me out here.
It's all benefits, so health insurance, 403B, TRA, FICA, so all your taxes.
Okay. I think we're gonna caucus.
Right.
Right?
All right. And we can do whatever we want here while they're out, but just remember, we're on camera. So, because I can't pause, there's no way to pause it and restart it, so, yeah. So if you're viewing at home, the 5 of you, if you want to
Now's a good time
take a
for
little
bathroom break.
bathroom break, some popcorn. Yeah. Yeah,
I just want to make sure you explain.
but people need to understand that, yeah. Yeah, no, I appreciate that. I didn't know what you were talking about. What's it, how did I get there? Yeah.
Yeah, no, exactly.
I don't know. What is that? I have to keep my phone.
Poker, yeah, we're working on that, aren't we?
I have
I forgot all about that. That was-
I told Jeff that. He was, oh yeah, I did really like that.
Oh, yeah, just
That's maybe one of my favorite meeting moments of the year. God, that was fun.
Yeah, you laughed pretty hard about that.
Yeah.
Oh, you got a chuckle out of that. Glad I could help you out.
I was good at the time. I kept my poker face.
Guess I've never heard anybody tell me that before, so now I'm very conscientious of
Yeah. Well, you got to know these things.
it.
I don't know. I think I talked about it. We used to play poker as a teacher in Albert Lee, and they're just one of the guys that would show up. If he had a good hand, he was just
So excited.
just couldn't. He was like Rodney Dangerfield. He was just like, I'm full. What? My eyes folds when I've got a good hand. Yeah.
Because you just told me you had. good
Yeah.
hand.
You do it. TikTok, say you have a good hand without saying you have a good hand. Yeah. Lindsay, you got to pick up a kid at 7?
If I could go grab them if we could, hopefully if we're close to being done by 7, otherwise it gets super late for them and they got school tomorrow.
Okay.
The YouTube video isn't working for the meeting. That was 39 minutes.
Oh,
Shit,
oh, no.
I didn't even check my phone.
Oh, I hadn't started 39 minutes ago.
Hopefully she can hear that.
There's 5 people watching right now,
Okay,
and then and we're at 36.47 seconds.
All right. Sounds good. I just picked up my phone now.
Yeah. I should have. I'm gonna run to the other room and take this.
She went to a Rolling Stones concert.
Sweet.
It was awesome.
Oh.
It was so much fun, yeah.
That would have been fun.
It was.
Was it with the original ones? Because when they moved.
Well, except for the drummer that died, just passed away.
Yeah.
His name Charlie Watts.
Oh, wow.
He just passed away in August, but it was crazy. Like Mick Jagger's 70 years old.
Yeah, I know, that's what I mean. Can they still move?
Oh my God.
78? Is he really?
That's
They
crazy.
look. I had never seen them in concert before, but I mean, dancer on that stage, just like
No big deal.
no big deal. Just sounds
Wow.
great. It was super fun.
You
Did
been to
have decent
Vegas?
tickets?
Have you been to Vegas before?
Oh, yeah.
Did you stay on the main strip or down at Fremont?
Oh, we were right down close to the main strip, yeah. That's a long time ago. So I've been there.
We didn't even go to the strip other than to go to the concert. I couldn't believe it. We
What?
usually stay on the strip, but we just thought, let's stay downtown. There's a new hotel downtown, and we had the best time staying downtown.
A lot of people say that. They
Yeah.
say downtown
Downtown
is
is
the
so
best.
much fun now.
Because they got everything right in
It's
one
so
area,
close.
and it's more reasonable.
Okay,
So,
interesting.
yeah, exactly.
Because
Yeah.
that strip is.
And the strip, I mean, you should go next door. It's like.
Oh, I know. You don't have to tell me. We looked and they said, oh, that looks like a
That's
mile.
nice. Like,
And we're walking. I'm like,
forever.
3 miles later, we're still
It was
walking.
nice. We had 5 people, so it's like you find each other.
Yeah.
It's not like you have to be like, oh, I'm gonna go over here now, and
Yeah, that's what
Wonder if Jill had fun. I'm sure they did. One of the guys at work they just came. Oh, 2 of the guys at work went together. Their girlfriend and wife.
I wonder how many were from the local area.
Can't get in.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and that's all you have to do. Is devote all your attention to that.
Then he explained his trees.
oh, he did.
That's the ones we was on the end of the football field.
All the trees in football field. They have some kind of winter or something up there.
Big Christmas party.
Yeah, that's what part of it.
Okay, so we would agree to everything. We would agree to that. We'll accept all those offers. We need to come together and do language changes
For insurance.
for insurance.
And there was another
And
one.
then
Oh, no.
we need a lot of, we should clean up, there's a lot of things that we probably should look at cleaning up in our contract, and we had that discussion,
Sure.
that we wouldn't change the essence of it, but we would look at just cleaning it up.
Okay.
And we had talked about that before,
Okay.
so,
So what we'll do is we'll put this together and then what would be, I've never done this. So should we'll make something with all the changes in it, of course, but then we can look at the,
we need to get language. First thing we do is we need to get language for the health insurance. And like I mentioned with Lindsay, I don't know if she has language that she's interested in, but like Alexis said, she would be happy to come down and work with us on language. Being that we're not agreeing to like any differences, but we've already agreed to everything that matters. We would just look at language and simplify.
I'd want to share it
That's, yeah, absolutely.
with them
Would
here.
we need to do that right away now, or can we give ourselves a little time, like, and maybe not this contract, but work on it for the next one? Or do you wanna actually do it now, because that's gonna take some time?
That's what Lindsay wanted that one.
Which one? With
To
the,
simplify, right?
She wanted the
It would,
dates.
it would be nice. I mean, I think we're simplifying it a little bit by making the dates make sense. I still think it's very repetitive. It's just a lot coming in. Like if you were to sit down and read that, I feel like you're reading the same thing over and over again, except for it's just changing a little piece of it.
That's a spiral staircase.
yeah, he said it's a spiral staircase. Yeah, I agree.
It is, and it is a little confusing to any reader or
that mine?
new teacher coming in or a new payroll person coming in. I just want to simplify it because the more simplified the language is, the less errors that can happen.
Yeah.
I don't know that it would take a long time. It'd be more just because I'm assuming Alexis would probably do the same thing that I would do. I would try to find access to, well, I already have access to a few contracts with my position, and then, you know, there other master agreements are online as well. It'd just be kind of going through it, looking through them to kind of see how they would word it. I think that would be my process, and then just come to the table with some examples.
Yeah, I don't think it would take very long, being that we're not changing the essence of things, we're just simplifying the language. We wouldn't have, you know, we would just have to, yeah, we'll do this one.
Well, and even simplified it by, I mean, we already know that it's paid over the 24 pay period, but yet we put in a whole paragraph about each single and family about the calculation of what it is per paycheck and stuff, you know what I mean? Normally you don't see the calculations in a contract. So even shortening it up that way, unless you guys want the calculation in there, I normally don't see it. It just has the contribution amount for the year.
So
Why is this- go ahead.
if that's something, like it was mentioned, we could do that next time. I mean, there's always a next time. So, however, I don't think it would take long to clean some of those language items up. And, you know, Lindsay's here. I know Alexis said she'd be available. When we have individuals that know their stuff, I think that would be very simple.
Okay. I just don't wanna push Lindsay, I guess, because it's like, okay, we're trying to get it done. Okay, now Lindsay, you gotta get on the roll here. So I just don't wanna push her, and if that's something she's okay with.
Yeah, there's a time component that would take some time. But I think that's an
And I
understanding.
think we have to meet one more time regardless, to clean up the few things that we, noted tonight.
Like 13H, did you have that one down?
Yes,
So
the
I-
one with the retirement.
That's the actual H.
Yeah, the actual.
No, I'm not talking about the H that was a B.
The actual age, we need to figure out either past practice or
Yeah.
legality, or not, or when people need to retire by.
Wait,
And-
that's an H?
That's the official age.
I've got copies of the McCray contract,
This
this
one right here.
review,
Well, this one here
not a video,
And
I
then
think.
the
I can
other
take a
one
look and see what they,
was the
What
B,
they do
the
in
unused
there.
sick leave.
it's just language.
That was the past practice one.
Okay, so I
The
don't
B was past practice to figure out how we paid out
Yes, I have
unpaid
that.
sick leave for
I don't have
retirees. H was the one we need to figure out when people need to retire by, what rule, to be able to get that severance.
All right. God, I'm glad I'm not taking notes on this.
H.
Yeah, and that was my next thing, unless there's anything else, we can review our notes.
What's H? What's everything else?
H
The
is,
real one,
this is the real H.
and that's the retirement.
This is the retirement severance
one. We need to talk about.
about, because they wanted to put to begin retirement at the end of the fiscal year, but no one retires in July first. So we have to figure out what appropriate time is.
Because there are, like I said before, there's
I think
rules.
it's like May 31st.
Well, it goes on the last teacher contact day or something. Lindsay, do you know what?
So I'm trying to think of, I know there's in state statute, there is, you have, if you're gonna offer an early retirement incentive, there's a date to put it out there. I know there's dates depending on your age, when it comes to your own personal TRA, that type of stuff. But as far as a retirement plan, I thought most of the verbiage that I see is at the, whether they, I don't know that they necessarily say fiscal year or if they say, end of contracted days. That verbiage, I'm not 100% sure. I can't recall off the top of my head that there's any guideline on what specific date it would need to be for a person. Unless they're coming of age when it is affecting their TRA.
See, and that's the thing that, and I'm limited with knowledge about it, but I know that there's been certain things where because of a date, a teacher, when they're retiring, they have to be done by that date. And it doesn't always match up with the contract because we've had, and it seems to be something having to do with the teacher contact days with students and whatever dates. And I don't know enough. I know enough just to kind of be dangerous with it.
Are you talking like 120 days is considered a,
No, it has to do with TRA and
It has to do with being,
them collecting their retirement benefits, and they have to be done X amount of days. And
then they have to have 30 days off?
there's
and-
something significant about, there's something to it. And I don't know what it is,
Well, it's just,
but I think that's an easy one to resolve.
the intent is simple. It's to keep people from,
just stopping after
it's
February.
the first day of school saying, oh, I'm going to be done next month.
And we would agree, we just need to,
Everybody agrees. There's nobody that would disagree with that. So,
we just need to get that language.
as a good attorney, you can make anything happen, right? Unless it's really.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. The glove doesn't fit. Wow. All right.
Okay, so,
You ready?
yep,
All right, so Article 6B, we would like that date changed to July 15th, and we agree to the language the board provided.
Is that what we agreed on?
Yeah.
The 15th? Don't
Yeah.
do that in there?
We put July 15th, or we asked for July 15th, just as a date for planning and preparation.
Would email suffice for that?
Instead of the
writing?
paper, instead of the paper chain.
Yeah. I'm just thinking that nobody's around in July. Would an email suffice? We could post it. I'm just trying trying to avoid postage and,
Right,
you
yeah.
know, mailings are a lot of work, even though it's 50-some people, but still it's,
Well, and everybody, I mean, if you think, I mean, I'm sure everyone has internet anyways, and they all have access to their own school computer over the summer. I mean, if they were,
yeah.
if they knew that ahead of time,
Don't they check the computer on a regular basis anyway, or not?
I
Not
used
during
to,
the summer?
I do, but no, they're.
No,
Not
the
summer, I don't know.
Really?
I don't
I
have
do.
internet or any of that stuff where I go, so. no.
The fact of the matter is that
But I think,
if I'm gonna take you and I'm gonna have you teaching science with Mr. Kingery, I wanna give you as much prep time as possible. So I mean, we would, if there was gonna be a change, I'd be calling you on the phone.
yeah, I don't think it's a significant issue. I can't imagine an administrator not wanting their teachers to know, hey, your assignment's changed.
No.
I mean, that just doesn't make sense. I think
We also want you to be happy.
there's, sometimes people aren't reachable and maybe it's a chosen thing and sometimes it's, tougher. I think I don't know if you want to put in there via email. I don't know if you want to put in there, how you communicate that. I think you attempt to communicate it until it's confirmed. I don't know if we need to put that in the language.
That's something we can work on for and stuff, so. All right,
All
sorry,
right,
sorry
next
about
one.
that.
No, that's okay. Article 12, we agreed to the date changes and we would like to meet to come up with the language.
And the money for Article 12 is 46 and 56.
Yes.
Good to go into the next one?
Yeah.
Article 13G, we agree on that.
And that's where you got it switched to the 700 for 12,
Yep.
right?
Yeah, I've got it on here now, sorry about that.
All right, then Article 10.
Well, hold on, Article, we got H,
You got to do H, yep.
Oh, Article 13H,
13H
figure out appropriate time.
Or wording here, yeah.
with the TRA and
Okay. Time. Okay. Article 10 or 13B.
Yeah, we were gonna check over past practice.
That's what I have. Take a look at this together, past practice.
so I'm guessing if we looked at the last 3 or 4, that'd be sufficient, didn't I?
Yeah, I don't think we have to move way back.
No.
years ago.
How long has this been? It was about 10 years it's been in there.
Yeah, if I was to guess, I would say 2008 or somewhere in there.
I would say if you found one like Kathy, you said, who had 100 sick leaves, so we've done one like that. Now find a retiree that hasn't had 100 sick leaves, and how did that work? I think that's all you need to do, and if it's,
They got paid for 100, or did they get paid for?
yeah, did they get 100? Because that's gonna help potentially deal with another issue.
All right.
And I have Article 10, agree on this. Or should that be 11?
Oh, we agreed on 10, it's just,
Is it in-
we're kind of in different orders.
I know.
Yeah. It's
I
true.
actually have Article 10 twice that we agreed on it, so we
Yeah.
really don't agree on it.
A couple of our, yeah.
All right, So then I have before 14, are we on, did I miss any before 14?
Article 11 we agreed on.
Okay, then that's right. So Article 11. Okay, then Article 14 I have, we agreed on as well. Personally.
Yeah.
Then Article 19, we agreed to the language change. We'd like to review this every 2 years, opposite of the contract negotiations.
But we kind of agreed that we don't need to have that.
Yeah.
We're not gonna,
Just-
I'm not gonna put that in there, that's gonna be
Yeah.
the committee's job.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we agreed, yeah.
So it's no longer.
The
gonna be in
committee
the
will,
contract.
it'll be a living document that the committee
Yeah.
deals with.
So it's not, it's gonna be out of the contract, deleted from the contract.
Well, it will be worded just like this. We're just
Okay,
agreeing to
all right.
this.
We're agreeing to their language.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
This is the one that the lawyer told me that was a very good idea. The lawyer said that.
Bring that up a few times.
That's kind of a fact.
Only positive thing is,
Yep.
Article 20, we agreed on that. That was primary, the ECFE.
Yep.
Those people.
Appendix A.
And then last was Appendix A, the board gave us the counter offer of year one, $1,000, and year two, $3,000, and we accepted. And in the end note, I put, we'd like to meet with Lindsay, Alexis, and the board committee to do language changes.
Anything we missed?
I don't think so.
Okay, so.
Sandy, is
I'll give
there,
you time-
yeah, she was writing, anything we missed?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll just give them time to finish, and then I'll just say what the next thing to do is. Okay, so, we have a tentative agreement, we still have a few things to do before we take this back to the Education Association. We have to have a complete document that we're voting on. So we will have all of those language items in place, and it'll be changed for review, and we have to present that document, and then I believe it's a minimum of 48 hours later, they'll have a vote. So once we go through all these language changes that we talked about changing, and go through and proofread and fix all of those things, we'll take it to a vote, or we'll present it to our union, they'll vote on it, has to go through our constitution, as it's 2/3 of our members to pass it. And then once it passes or fails, I will simply let, or myself, or usually it's me or Tantala, will let Mr. Mutton know if it passed or failed. If it passes, then you would take yours to the board and they would vote on whether it passes or fails. If ours fails, obviously it's not going to the board to pass. So if ours fails, then we come back to keep working.
And if it doesn't, if it passes there, but it doesn't pass at the board,
We come back and keep
we'll
working.
just keep working, okay. Well,
Yeah.
all right. Well, thank you, everybody.
Are we gonna try to get a date? for-
Bye, Lindsay, you can go now.
No, we should,
No,
We'll get a date.
She's
with her.
gotta go.
Okay. Okay, so we'll plan on having a date scheduled at a later date,
Yeah, well,
later date.
unless we wanna,
If
Jill wasn't able to be here, I wish,
Real quick, that's fine, because if you're thinking of summer, I have so many TNT and board presentations and audit presentations, like, my month is super full, so if you guys wanna still do it in December, I'll wait on a few minutes if you guys wanna look at dates.
so are we looking at dates, or what are we gonna do on this?
The language. Oh, wow.
That's
So,
There's much time.
I wanna make sure it's okay with Jill though too, so.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we're fine, we don't have to have a date set in stone, we can, That could be
We'll
work in
do a
progress.
tentative, yeah. Okay. Wednesday's probably, that's about the only night you can do this. No, probably you too. Maybe you. Are you coaching still? Oh, smart.
I'm coaching right now. Practice.
Right. All right, so let's see, it's the first. The only Wednesday I have open would be the 22nd,
Same here.
the night before Christmas break. We're good?
Yeah.
It'll be a fast one, Gary, come on.
Just
Don't be a baby.
I probably can make it work. I just gotta find somebody to help me out. Do you want these?
Yeah, I can do it.
Yeah, why don't you leave those here, and just, it's nice to not have to print those out every time.
What time you think?
6 o'clock again?
Oh,
Yeah, if you guys wanna do.
Can you-
well,
If you wanna
guys
go
have
can you
it.
do earlier?
I don't know.
I,
Up
s-
to you guys.
I certainly can.
Oh,
You don't have
That
to.
makes it
yeah.
harder for me.
He probably can't, but I don't think we all have to be. I mean,
Like, I'm fine if I'm not here.
Alright.
because we're not going over any.
Sure, I'm fine with
We're
this.
just-
I can do whatever.
I mean, I love getting up for evenings, but,
I'm good, I can come anytime.
Sandy,
Well, yeah,
what time are you
Depends on what
thinking?
time you can be here.
well, if I know I'm gonna time, 4:30. Probably the
Works for me
earliest.
too.
Is it okay if I'm virtual again then?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. This works fine.
Yeah, it just works great, Lindsay. Don't feel like you gotta drive down here. all the time.
I'm just wondering because on Wednesday I will be in Nicollet, so I would have, what is that, probably an hour and a half?
No, it's about an hour.
An hour to Olympia?
Hour, 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Windsor.
Yeah, driving a bus. So.
It's on the other side. It's on the other side of the wall.
Okay, so what time?
So what time?
But we have to make sure Alexis can come, right?
Well, yeah, I'll check with Alexis, see
Maybe
if
she can do
she's
virtual.
available.
But that could be
We can also just get language from her. as well.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll, if this doesn't work out, I'll let people know ASAP.
At 4:30?
So then we need to look. at-
4:30, okay.
Oh, does that work
Lindsay,
for
we're
you,
good.
Sandy?
Were you going to look at the past
Sure.
practice of how how we paid unused sick leave for a couple retirees or no?
Yeah, I will dig into that on Monday when I come to the district.
Okay,
Okay, 4:30.
so then so we need to time TRA. And
I'll,
insurance.
rather than meeting before that, I'll just get you a copy of everything ahead of time, and if you see any mistakes or anything.
So you get 2 days before.
Yeah, well, and I want to get it to you before, a little ways before that anyway, just so that you can, trying to too many things at once.
Lindsay, do you want the
Those
notes from
questions.
tonight?
Well, so you can review the language changes.
The notes,
Compare
Yeah.
to what Olin.
Would you like an email of the notes?
that would be
Tonight?
wonderful.
Okay,
Could you want to email those to me too?
yeah, I am emailing them to everybody
Okay,
here.
perfect, thanks.
Are you gonna have Joy type all the changes into a new contract, like fix the dates and stuff? Or is that something you're talking about like that night?
I don't know if I mean, the dates we know that the dates have to be changed.
Yeah.
I mean, we can spend time talking about changing the dates, but that's a.
Don't you think we make all the tentative agreement changes and all the date changes and then we just work forward through the additional stuff that's still on the table? And any little verbiage
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
from
Yeah.
there?
So if we could get a copy of everything changed that we have with the dates, like that, like there, 1921 right there, that should probably be adjusted.
Yeah, now you don't want me to highlight that I changed it to,
No,
no, okay.
no.
No, but on the one that you give us, it'd be nice if you highlighted
I'll highlight all the, yeah,
the new stuff.
yep.
Is there
And
anybody,
that's easy, it's all ready to go, it's just making a few changes.
is there anybody else that needs the meeting notes? I have you three and Lindsay
Jill?
and Jill. Yeah,
Jill,
and I have
yep.
Jill.
Yeah, I forgot about Jill last time.
Yeah, I think
Which may
I,
or may not be why she's not here tonight.
Oh,
No, she's not.
Sorry, Jill.
Oh.
Because when I looked at the calendar invite, I invited you too. but-
oh.
Oh, well.
She's probably not mad.
She's doing some church thing tonight. Like a youth group or something.
That's fine.
All right,
That's
think-
after school, my kids go after school.
I think I sent out the calendar invite, so you guys should be good.
Thanks, guys.
Awesome,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Thank you, Lindsay.
Matt,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you
very
guys.
much.
Thanks.
all right. Bye, home people.
45 minutes. 5th and 6th grade basketball.